It is late ill kid at OneYoungsta holding it down. Bring that StreetGeek and NERDSoul. What is up, my people? Today all year, come on with another wonderful episode of That's Right On Screen. We are here to talk about the finale, the series finale and season finale, the end of it all. Black Lightning, CW's Black Lightning. It's been a long road, and we got here. It's been a while. And before getting into the finale, before we're talking all about that stuff, I want you to know that you are not just chilling with me. Oh, no. We have a luminary, all right? We have a professional connoisseur of television. We have the creme de la creme, all right, of critics. We have a man that has not only climbed Mount Everest, but done it in a pair of sneakers. All right, we have a man that has walked barefoot on coals, all right, without even dropping a tear. We have a man that has bench pressed 1,000 pounds, and that was just on a warm up. I'm giving to y'all the one and only, you best believe it, Clement Bryant.
Stop lying to the people. Stop lying to the people.
Yo, gotta tell them the truth, man.
That is not the truth.
I gotta give them the real, man.
The first line was true. Everything else was a lie.
Gotta give them the real, man.
Lie. The cake is a lie. Okay, anyway.
So a big shout out to everyone in the chat coming in. A big shout out to anyone watching this on the replay. We got Vulcan here already. What up, Vulcan? Vulcan already said shake my head to this finale, but you know what? We ain't going to talk about the finale yet. I wanted to go back a little bit. Talk about this show in general. Because this show came out in what? 2016? When did Black Lightning first air?
It was 17.
It was 17.
Wait.
So you're talking about a different landscape. You know what I'm saying?
17 or 18? I think it was either 17 or 18 because I remember I had just bought a PlayStation 4 around the same time. So
yeah. First aired on January 6th, 2018.
There you go.
So you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things that have been around for a while. And even though we've had our ups and downs, and we will talk about the finale, Black Lightning was with us before it was hot to be with us. You know what I'm saying? Before, we got to remember, before it was the gravy train of Black Panther, you know what I'm saying? Black Lightning was there with us. You know what I'm saying?
A month before, but still.
Yeah.
You know.
I'm just saying, you know, we hadn't hit yet.
Yeah, right.
He was like a month before, but
I mean, just saying.
But Black Lightning did come in at a time where everything was starting to like, oh snap, oh we got black heroes, We had Black Lightning. We had we were coming off of season 1 of Luke Cage.
He's one of Luke Cage.
Yeah, so we were coming off of, season 1 of Luke Cage. Everybody was feeling good about that. Now I know people like to, go back and hate on it, but at the time, you can go check, unless they deleted their tweets, you can go and check Black Twitter's Twitter threads back in 2017 or whatever. When Luke Cage dropped, people was happy. Now I know now in retrospect, people want to be like, "Oh no, I never liked that show." People was up on it. It didn't crash Netflix for nothing. You know what I mean? So we're off of Luke Cage. Now we got Black Panther. We saw the trailer for that, and we got Black Lightning. Black Lightning comes out, and it kind of represents the culture very well. And I was happy. I was excited. And for the most part, more often than not, I've been excited about this show. I'm gonna throw it to you, Clement. How did you feel when this show first came out?
I mean, I felt revitalized. It felt like there was an energy, especially when you went to Comic-Cons or you went to like any comic event. There was energy, especially among, what we call blurs. There was like energy about like, we had Luke Cage, and we still had Luke Cage because Luke Cage was still in, Iron Fist or Luke. Like it's still like there.
Netflix Marvel universe,
the whole universe. So like there was like a renewed energy of sorts, and it felt nice to actually kind of see, especially when you saw the first trailer about Black Lightning. There was like, okay, cool. Like there's the New York Harlem vibe of Luke Cage, and then there's the really grit street vibe of what Black Lightning attained to be, and also kind of like was a little bit aspirational too, especially like early Jefferson, like very much like very Steve, and then like the lore of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and like folks of that sort. So that was a really cool vibe to see, especially in the first 2 seasons. It's also, I think, when you talk about a character like Tobias Whale, it's important not to forget the fact of he's the self-hating Black man. It's a very important thing in our culture. People who are about our culture, but also like hate on our culture too. You know what I mean?
I think the people that try extra hard to like not be a part of our culture, when it's like, dude, you just are what you are. It's like and you Black.
Accept it, you move on. But like, and I think it's like that character is very important, and I think his inclusion in the series is a play and a way to commentate on that.
Yeah, and his lines always really characterize how much he hated just Blackness in general.
Right. And it also kind of gives you like a vibe into his culture, because he feels like the only person that really understood him was his sister.
Yeah, definitely.
He plays into the finale, like all the way into the finale.
He was crazy too, but yeah.
I mean, right. So, and then I think when we look back on the importance of Black Lightning as a show, it can't be understated.
Yeah.
Because also, like, when we think about it, the show wasn't supposed to be on the CW. Wasn't supposed to be in the Arrowverse. Wasn't supposed to be in the CW.
Wow.
Supposed to be on Fox. Remember that?
I forgot all about that.
Supposed to be on Fox back in the day. It was Berlanti, Laura, and Celine.
I forgot all about that.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
So the fact that this is on CW at all, especially when the CW, their shows are pretty much aged younger. Black Lightning is the tone of the show is definitely aged up.
Definitely. And even I remember commenting on it when it first came out, being like, this show doesn't, it doesn't, like, this is a show that would not be on CW. And I'm glad we got it, because one, the Black women are too Black. Two, it's not really about tween or like young adults.
Right.
And 3, it's black.
It's
It's a black show. Like there's
it's
no
black.
like, and it meaning like they definitely talk about issues pertaining to blackness that are going on now currently, and also that even historically.
Right.
Um, and they were kind of like on the front end of that because I think they did it in a way where even the first season of Luke Cage didn't really do it, even though they had more episodes than Luke Cage. So and they had like a, sort of like a different writing team.
Right.
But one thing that I liked about these shows and this time in general is they were fully representing like the music from Luke Cage, the energy, the style, the music from Black Lightning, the energy, the style, the stuff, the music from Black Panther, like all of that was giving
And I
super,
think
super vibes. Like I remember being at this time being like, yo, we finally got it going. We finally
and I,
got some.
and I think it's like you bring up a good point. I think the Luke Cage, Black Lightning, and Black Panther trio complement each other.
Yeah.
Think about it, where you kind of have the cold street level vibe of Luke Cage, and you have the little bit of that in Black Lightning, but Black Lightning is more about looking at our heroes past and present in real life. And then you have Black Panther is like our connection to the homeland, Africa. And so I think they all kind of really complement, even though they're different vibes, different worlds. I know Luke, the Netflix shows in the MCU, they're not canon anymore, say with whatever. But I think they all complement each other really well. So, and I think that can't be understated, especially when you talk about like the music of Luke Cage. You have like, you have a Tribe Called Quest, guy from Tribe Called Quest being the music.
Ali.
Yeah. So like, and you have actors like Mahershala Ali, you have the Mike Coulters, you have Tom Mystics, you have Cress, who came out of left field to become Black Lightning. And you had, R.I.P. Chadwick. I think when we think about these shows and we think about this era, it's very important that we give each show their props.
Definitely.
Black Lightning, even though season 4 has been kind of uneven. I know
very, and we'll get into it, but right now I did want to give its props and respect for what it did do, because I don't want this to be lost in like, oh well, I just hated this and I hated that, because on the back half of the season we got glimpses of, oh, okay, cool. Well, this is what it could have been if we had like taken away the first half and like spread this out and like plotted this out. So and we did get some good this season. We did. It wasn't all bad.
Yeah.
And I agree. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think it's like I was trying to read an article before I kind of got busy with work today, but like, I think part of the article something was going to talk about how they kind of had to shift the story in response to not only COVID, but also the fact of finding out that they were canceled and then having to figure out how to bring a close to 4 seasons of the show and overarching storyline of like the Jefferson and Tobias and his daughter's storyline. How do you bring that all together in COVID of all things? If it wasn't for COVID, there probably would have been a lot more room for them to do stuff. But because when you're on set with COVID, there's new security guidelines, new health guidelines you got about that inflate the cost of the show overall. So that
I get
gotta
you.
kind of do account.
That's a good point to add. See, I thought they were aware when they had started planning the season that this was going to be the last one. But
but also COVID playing into that.
Yeah, COVID playing into that.
Things that they want to do. You know what I mean? So that's all like, it's complicated. It's super complicated, which is why like shows like Falcon and Winter Soldier finales aren't there. WandaVision finales aren't hitting as hard as they probably would have if we weren't in COVID.
Yeah, because we didn't have like the vaccine, kind of like the rollout and stuff, where people are kind of like getting there and all that stuff and getting better and able to kind of like have a set where it's like, oh, okay, well, everyone's vaccinated, we cool here. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to Black Lightning, the writing was on point. The music was on point. The way our people were shot, you know, amazing, you know, like just amazing stances on where these characters were in their life, like Anissa, Jen, even Lynn. Because season 1, Lynn wasn't really bugging like that. Like season 2 and 3, like she went to outer space. But hey, like,
I
girl,
would say
have you
like
lost your mind?
I would say like after like
was,
the whole like
oh,
I would say after, not to cut you off, but like after the whole taking in the green light, where she took the green light, that started going really far, a little bit far. Mm-hmm. Just to kind of comment on what you were saying. But yeah.
Oh, and Silhouetted Animator said Brandon from season 3, aka Curls, was supposed to appear this season originally, but that got cut. So yeah, so like certain things, I know, you know, due to COVID, things had to change. But I wanted to give this show its love and just say thank you to the Achilles for, this show. I'd rather have this show than not. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, Khalil, his arc, Tobias's arc, Lala, like all of these people seemed real. I mean, of course we're talking about like, superpowers and stuff, but all these people seemed like people that you know. You know how you watch some TV shows and you're like, nobody acts like this. Like this is hyped up for Hollywood. Like nobody is this much of a such and such, and people still deal with them or something like that. But in this show, they did a good job through dialogue to be able to help people seem as natural as possible. So with all that together, I wanted to say, Black Lightning, I'm glad that it exists. I'm glad it came when it did. And it came at a really good time for Blackness to have something that kind of like represented, while we were still dealing with stuff in the real. You know what I'm saying?
And I mean, I think one of the things the show did really well is that I kind of like, looking at hindsight, looking at the characters, it's like the show kind of shows you that there's not one way to be Black. We're not a monolith.
Yeah. And like you said, these 3 different shows, or well, 2 shows in the movie did that as well. It did a great job of like showing like, oh, okay, cool. I don't have to just be, like back then it used to be like, all right, all we got is one Black hero. That's it. Like, we got one Black hero. And now, we got Luke Cage, at least at this time in 2018. We got Luke Cage. Yeah. We got Black Panther on the way. We got Black Lightning show coming out every single week. And then by that time we already have Falcon from Falcon and Winter Soldier on Marvel. So now it's like, okay, we got a couple of people, that like, all right, cool, we can look up to. We got the Dora Milaje starting to, break through on the Civil War. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, cool, we're starting to see, all right, some looks at us outside of like just, the comic book page. We got the Dora Milaje, we got Simone Missick on Luke Cage. We got Anissa. Yeah. We got Jen. We got these other faces. And even in the first season, the vice principal was a dark-skinned sister. I can't remember her name. And I actually met her, and I apologize. I can't remember her name. But, great. It came at a great time where it was like, oh, snap, we get representation. So that was cool. That was really dope. And I just wanted to take some time to say like, yo, we still love, we love the show for what it did, what it was. Cause I know we got to talk about the finale. So the finale.
Yep.
Clement, how are you feeling before we start to get into it? How are you feeling as a whole about the finale?
I
All right, so I'll
I
say
no,
this. All right, go ahead.
what like I the okay, I guess I'll just start the 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 iconosphere situation, the tunnel
Yeah.
fight.
Yes.
What like that was the last thing I was fully expecting.
Well, see, if well, I know we got the COVID stuff, but if narratively we would have drawn that out instead of just seeing the particles sort of reach for JJ when she left the last time, then we would have probably known. Because I was like, yo, I bet you that's Jen. She's going to come back. But they didn't, narratively, they didn't do anything to make you believe that there was any conflict with those, particles or nothing like that.
Right.
And the fight, I thought was cool. I enjoyed the perspective that was put on it from the, I guess, the alien being or whatever. But once again, if we had not wasted the first half of the season, this finale could have been split into 2 episodes where we could have, one, already fleshed out that, oh, hold up, I think Jen's still alive in like episode 4. And then maybe episode 6 be like, no, Jen's definitely up there. You know what I'm saying? And then maybe episode like 8 get something else. And then in 9, that's when you have her come through and, they fight and have the ionosphere fight or whatever. But in like one episode, they were just like, oh, well, there she is. She's back. And now she's coming to fight in the tunnel. And this episode, in worse ways than Falcon and Winter Soldier, needed more time. Because they're wrapping up a whole series. So
Yeah.
4 years, about 4 years, of story, and they're trying to wrap it up in a half a season. That's essentially what they did. Like, they didn't put the pedal to the metal until like episode 8. And they put themselves behind the 8 ball. So that scene, I wasn't mad at it, but I think narratively we probably could have had some more build or growth or maybe wanting from maybe either the ionosphere part or from the JJ part.
Right.
Maybe see JJ's attitude crack somewhere in like episode 5 or something like that. Be like, you know what I'm saying? Like something just weird. But
I think a good scene would have been Uriah's death to at least like not, I know, like, okay, we could have had it throughout the season or like after she emerged a little bit, but like I think Uriah's death would have been a good moment to like at least hint that there is some sort of
there's a difference.
There's more to JJ than what meets the eye and what she presents herself to be. I think that would have been the scene to really start doing that or hinting at it, at least to like let you know like there's something that's going to happen in the finale.
And shouts to Silhouetted Animator. We have says remember Halo from the Outsider comics. I think they based JJ on that alien spirit thing that possessed Halo in the comics. And thank you for the super chat. Shouts out to you. I can see that because it is similar. It's very similar in that way.
Yeah,
it's very similar and kind of like Negative Man way or something like that. And it just, I like the fight. I don't mind the fight. I don't think we had any emotional investment in the fight. We were just like, oh, Jen's back. All right, cool. Oh, she was up there the whole time. Even though when they showed it, they showed the particles again on like episode 6 or something like that. And I was like, I feel like Jen's still gonna be up there, or either gonna use Jen to be up there, or when she needs more energy or something after like a fight, they're gonna use it to like rejuvenate her or something.
Right.
But seeing the fight was I will say the boss up kind of like Phoenix moment, I thought that was cool. But once again, cool. I didn't really have the emotional investment. You know, I didn't really have that to dive into it, unfortunately. ZSB Lou says, did y'all see Jay Washington and Winston Marshall's interview with Cress Williams yesterday? Did you? I didn't.
I knew about it, but I didn't get a chance to catch it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I know them boys be balling, you know what I'm saying, getting big things. But I ain't seen it. Nah, I haven't seen it.
I didn't see it.
But it's one of those things where I feel like a lot of this finale is too little, too late.
I think
okay, so we got Lynn and Jefferson finally getting back together and actually getting married, but we haven't seen you guys actually do the work to repair the hurt of at least season 2 and 3.
Well, I think that's what the therapy was, though. I think that's what
we kind of dropped the therapy after like episode 2.
But I think in some weird way that's what they were trying to do, is showing like
in the background they're doing that.
Right, in the background they're doing the work, or like even when you're going through therapy, you're still like, even when you're going through therapy, outside of therapy, you're still doing the work. You're still doing the work of trying to. If whether you are in marriage counseling or in like individual therapy to repair depression, anxiety, you still have to do the work out of it. So I think in some way they were trying to hint at that they were trying to do the work. So like I feel like that moment was somehow sort of earned, because I expected them to get together, especially when they kind of made up in the last episode before the finale that they're like, okay, I acknowledge that I played a role in the destruction of our relationship. Yeah, you're right. I haven't really been great too. That was like them trying to like.
And then we can assume that off screen between what's his name? Between Tobias dying and then showing up at Anissa's place, we can assume that there was another conversation that was had, like, I thought I lost you. I love you so much. And, all this stuff is stupid. Life is short, blah, blah, blah. We love each other. Let's just make it work. Yes, girl, let's make it work. Yes, we can do it. And, we love each other. # Black Love. And then it was like, we get married. So we can kind of assume sort of that happened. But the stuff like the police was super fast, and it felt rushed. And since it felt rushed, it also comes off out of place. It does give Lightning something to do after her fight with JJ. Just call it JJ because we don't really have anything else. Because she was like, you don't have a name for what I am. So, it does give her a fight, but it doesn't even. It would have been great to see in that fight, even though we don't have the narrative build up for that fight. It just happened in like 1 second. It was like, oh, I'm mad. It's power time. But instead of her kind of going back and forth with the electricity, I would have loved to see a moment where it's like, no, homegirl is on another level now. Like, it's not even like your little electricity. Like, I'm on another level.
You talking about police chief?
Yeah, like I would have loved when she tried to zap like Lightning. I would have loved to see her like essentially not even be bothered by it and just absorb all the electricity from her, like walk up to her and just like push her down or something, like something that shows that like, yo, her level is so like she's done, it's over. Like she's been up in the ionosphere, kind of like becoming part of it or whatever. And like so now, like especially after the Phoenix thing, come on, man, that little electric thing, she should have been like, huh, whoo, you just don't know, and just like I don't know, absorb the power and like pushed her down and like they handcuffed her and just been like, yo, shorty ain't phased, like something to show like that level of power. Because for her to kind of struggle after doing the Phoenix move, I was like,
But
okay.
You could say after doing the Phoenix move that her power is depleted. So even though that she still has her power, like a boss move like that, you're gonna be a little weak in the state, especially dealing with someone who is who thinks that she is like, oh, I got superpowers now, so I'm a badass. It's kind of like, which is why when the way I took it was when I forget what his name is, the cop was like, thank you. Like it was kind of hilarious the way he said it. He was just like, thank you, I don't got to deal with this anymore. It was hilarious.
Like, cause she getting on my nerves.
Right. So I think that's really funny.
Shouts to Jenna James. Said, I like the finale, but I agree that Jennifer's return should have been a much more emotional event. Silhouetted Animator said, if Painkiller ain't happening, they should just pitch an outsider show with Khalil as team leader, borrow elements from the scrapped Painkiller show over to an outsiders one.
Yeah, we should probably talk about that.
I wouldn't be. We'll get into that after the finale. We still got some more stuff, but we'll get into that after the finale. Gamby, I enjoyed finally seeing him. Gamby with the, with a blocker. I love your boy Gamby. I also enjoyed seeing the moments with Jefferson's father again. So any scene with him and his father, they get me. They always do them really well. And then of course the music behind it, I think they did a great job. I also think Tobias burying Jefferson alive is perfect. It's a perfect, like, it's sort of a perfect look at how much he hates Jefferson. But if we had more time, I would have loved to see a post credit on that episode, last episode, where we think he's dead, and we flash and we're like, oh snap, he's not dead, but Tobias is holding him like by his throat, throws him in the casket, shuts it, and starts throwing dirt on top. Then it's like, oh snap, this dude is crazy. It would have, just added a little more evilness to Tobias. A smidge more evilness.
I mean, but he's always been evil, but like,
true that.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. The father moment really did get me because also like, I think it was that moment that Jefferson needed to kind of reflect on where he has gotten, how he allowed the Tobias start to get to where it was, to the point that he's literally 6 feet under, buried alive. And I think one of the moments that hit me the hardest when he was saying that prayer of, please let me be worthy enough to be accepted into your kingdom. That was really strong. That was a really strong part of that episode, to the point of like, okay, I'm about to die. Please bless me. Please look after my family. Like that is some really emotional stuff. I think Cress really handled that really well, especially really well. So I think that was like that key moment where, okay, whatever the Rock's energy was at the end, where he was like, okay, I feel my power's coming back. How am I going to get out of here? Because I have to handle this, because I have to step up and handle this, not only for myself, but for my family, but also the city is relying on me to handle this and handle it already. So I think those three scenes together was really one of the strongest parts of the episode.
And also Jefferson's dad saying what I've said millions of times: you killing Tobias does not make you Tobias. All right? He's like,
that scene with Gamby, that was the point of that, where he was like, I'm a monster. He's like, no, this man was the monster. This was self-defense. That was, I think, those complemented really well.
It's one of those things that really go to show how important his core is. Because kind of like my two dads, like, you know what I'm saying? You have your father, your biological father who was taken from you, and then the guy who kind of stepped in to make sure that you were safe, you know, nurtured you and all that stuff and helped you with your powers and all that good stuff. And I dug that. I thought that was probably the strongest part of the episode. Now, unfortunately, there were other parts that didn't really flow well, which were kind of like the whole part at the beginning of the episode where they're standing around like, Dad's dead. We got to go get Tobias. No, we got to make a plan. No, yeah, we got to make a plan, but I'm just mad. I'm going to go kill him myself. It's just like, look, man, look. Like, why don't y'all stop this?
Right.
The problem, at least Gamby was like, no, we need a plan, man. That's the problem. We don't work as a unit. Now, I would have liked to hear this say mid-season 2, but, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, we don't need to fight each other. We can fight as a unit. We can fight together. And then look at what they did together. They infiltrated the base, beat down a dude, set a dude on fire, you know what I'm saying, blew up the emitter, got the powers back. I don't know how Grace changed her clothes, but you know what I'm saying, whatever. Grace was wearing like a regular coat and some jeans. All of a sudden, homegirl got like black latex on or something. I don't know. But I don't ask no questions. Maybe her powers help her. Maybe her skin fuses and makes up fake clothes to cover her body. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
but it was cool to see them actually work as a real unit. So I'll give them that. I will give them that. But
I think we've kind of like exhausted it, but I think we gotta.
no, there's one more thing.
What?
The fight with Tobias and Jefferson
That's what I was
Pierce.
gonna say. Like,
That's the last thing we gotta talk about. Woo.
yeah, that
We have waited for 4 years.
okay. I'll say I think that was anticlimactic.
That's an understatement.
I mean, I'm going to say
this is the problem with not having a 2-part finale. They should have. Oh man, because see,
but here's the thing: if they would have gone with the 2-part finale, I don't think they would have had enough material to stretch the 2-part finale. To be honest with you, if they use
because I'm thinking of kind of like a boss level, kind of like, you know, knock down, drag out fight, but they ain't got the money for that. So they got to keep it short because they can't just be breaking glass and setting stuff on fire and pyrotechnics and explosions all day. Because like it would have been cool to see him like blast him through a gas main and there's half of the building explodes and then like you like, oh snap, Tobias survived that? Yo, he's crazy power level. And then like these dudes are like straight battling. And you're like, yo, how can he? And then of course, through that, instead of Lala waking up at the end of the episode, Lala like, nah, bruh, I'm back. And you'd be like, oh snap, Lala's back. He won his. And he would have been like, Mr. Pierce. And you would be like, oh snap, he knows. And you would be like, oh, Lala knew all the time. Then he would be like,
and I
got you, Mr. Pierce.
I think that would have been cool, especially
save your soul.
It would have been like a Jefferson gets his licks in, and then to like the cherry on top of the sundae in the fight scene is having Lala join in and then both of them going against Tobias. Yep. But you know, I really thought like,
but I know that costs money.
I'm not even counting all 4 years, but considering the build up earlier in the episode with like we're talking about the scenes with his father talking about Tobias, I thought there would be more of like an all out, you know, knock 'em, sock 'em kind of fight going to
straight slugfest.
Right, going in on it. And they kind of did that a little bit with the glass breaking, a little bit, but like having him impaled on a spike, I was like, after that setup, it's because the setup was so good and earlier in the episode, right? And where we got to the fight, like, and like I don't want to harp on the negative parts because you know me, I'm like, I try to look at it from, okay, what were they trying to do? What were they trying to achieve? What were they able to do? And what were they able not to do? because it's a lot more complicated and complex than just being like they should have done X, Y, and Z, right?
Yeah, that stuff costs money, so
Money,
I get it.
effects, stunt people, stunt availability, the whole thing.
Yeah, and the stuntman on that fight, I was like, that ain't Jeff. I was like, that ain't Jefferson Pierce. Excuse me, young man. Jefferson Pierce is supposed to be in this fight.
Cool, man. But like, yeah, like the fight just didn't hit the same way for me. But I like the end tag of Lala waking up and being like, someone finally put you in your place. Like that was like cool. Having him get the last line in the series was kind of fun.
Yeah, and now Silhouette Animator says Tobias's end was kind of brutal. He was basically convulsing and then electroshocked on the metal spike. Yes. Now, here's where I would have changed that ending a little bit. The whole part where he, was like, basically quoting scripture to a brother and pulled out the guns. At this time, Black Lightning should be at a point where he's like, you know what? Good. And like before he even said anything was like, metal spike sounds like a plan. And gave him all of the electricity that he possibly could until like the whole building short out. That would have been, but of course, I know this is CW. I know, I'm trying to take this to HBO Max. I know it's CW, so I'm gonna reel it in, y'all. I'm gonna reel it in. But the fight, it was short.
Yeah.
And it did not give us the emotional release we needed after 4 years.
And I think that's the point I'm looking for. Like, yeah, while the death was brutal, in concept it was brutal.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I was looking for a feeling of finally.
Yeah.
Like,
and we didn't really get that.
Completed. And I didn't and also there was questions of I didn't feel the emotional release that I felt like, oh wow, cool, Jennifer is still alive. Cool, that was a really big moment. Like I felt like those two things of Jennifer still being alive and Tobias's death should have been the most emotional.
They should have been large things, and they should have had their own episodes. Jen should have came back last episode where everybody could actually have emotional release, like, oh snap, you're back, you ain't dead, this is the real one and you the fake one or something, or whatever. Maybe Jen comes back and saves her family because the fake JJ has kind of like turned on the family or something. I don't know. But then you kind of have to retool some other stuff in that season, so forget that. But what I'm saying is like it would have been nice to have her return and be like, oh, not like TC getting knocked out. Oh, sorry, TC, man. TC, you ain't get. It would have been nice to see. Poor TC. You know what, TC, I wanted you to be able to at least go out on a date with Jen, at least one date, ice cream, if you will.
I gave up on that.
Maybe a dinner, a movie. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a walk in the park. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be an expensive date. Maybe a walk in the park. Take out some paddle boats on the lake or something like that. Feed some ducks. You know what I'm saying? Talk about life. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
Yeah.
But nothing.
I mean, I'm getting hot in here. Sheesh. These lights are really
killing.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to wrap it up. But like, I think we got to talk about painkiller stuff because found out today. Yeah, man. I mean, I didn't want to be the negative Nancy, but we've seen with multiple spinoffs, backdoor pilots.
Yeah.
Rarely,
especially on CW.
Rarely have they come through on CW. I think the one that sticks out of my mind is Flash. Because we had Arrow back in the day, and they used Arrow off Flash. And then that's how we got all of the rest of the Arrowverse. So it's kind of like they're batting one for how many pilots that they've show pilots they try to do. Supernatural, Green Arrow, the Canaries, like
Now with Painkiller, I think has Riverside already tried to spin off? I thought they did, but maybe they didn't.
Well, they kind of did. They kind of did with Sabrina.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a back to a pilot, but it was like in the same universe.
Yeah.
Sabrina, they were in the same universe, but we never really got the crossover because I think if we would have got, I think it was like season 5 for Sabrina, we would have got that crossover. I think like the showrunner talked about that when they got canceled, but Painkiller, man, it stings, man. It stings because I guess they're really trying to be even like Powerpuff Girls. The pilot for the Powerpuff Girls is getting significantly reworked.
Bruh. I saw that set photo and I was just like, hey, you know what? It's your world. Do what y'all want. You know what I mean?
And then like there was a script that leaked that I'm gonna say that wasn't the script.
It wasn't great?
No, it wasn't the script. I'm sure it was written it was written kind of like, remember the Donald Glover script, that the Deadpool script that got leaked? And it was super up to date, that it wasn't actually real. But this was like not on the same level of that. Where that was good and you could tell it was fake, this is definitely fake. But Painkiller, man, it's like Jordan, I know we were talking about over DM last night. Jordan, he's got the look, he's got the skills, he's the total package of someone. He's got leading man potential.
Yeah, and people are sleeping on him.
I've seen that definitely come through, and like it kind of hurt, especially when later on in the day he was the first to address it and being like, okay, look, let's rip the band-aid off now. Painkiller is not getting picked up for, you know, a proper season, but I'm really thankful to, you know, being even considered. And I think that was a really humble way of like accepting that news. But man, I would really like to see them go through, especially the fact of you have someone like Maya Odell being the villain of the show, because it opens you back up for more Black Lightning stories.
True. So yeah, and Silhouetted Animator says, I think CW doesn't want this continuity to last beyond 2024 or 2025. They could have had the story potential to last far beyond that. So yeah, I see you. And Andre Atkins says, when they wouldn't let TC be with Wendy last season, I knew they weren't going to let him get no love. And he'd be the MVP on the tech side a lot. Here's the thing. Jason Reeves and I talked about this when we got the information about Star Wars from Finn. Well, not from Finn, from
John Boyega?
John Boyega. Hollywood does this thing with black men in general, not everywhere, but in general, Hollywood does this thing with black men where they're like asexual, where like they'll be around women, but for some reason like they have no interest at all in women. Like they just like exist. So, you know, you have even with the way you have Jefferson and Lynn, there's still very, very few moments of them actually experiencing or displaying black love. And I think that's, to a certain degree, I would say if I was to put my antennas up, I would say that's why they have them fighting all the time, because it's easier to have someone fighting, or it's better for a certain system in general to show them fighting and at odds instead of being together as a unit, loving and supporting each other and building a family, because families build communities and communities build a nation. But we ain't going there. I ain't put my antennas up. All I'm saying is, I think that's what they did to your boy TC. They was like, well, we'll just have him be a guy that just, he's around all these pretty women and like he has no thought at all. He just, like, he's chilling with Jen all the time. No thought of any romantic relationship. He's around Wendy. I can't remember if she was super pretty or not, but he was around Wendy, and it seemed like there was a little attraction, but like never went anywhere. Even the Khalil thing was kind of pushed off after season 2.
What
I mean, for good reason, but you know.
You mean the Khalil and Jen thing?
Yeah, even that was kind of pushed off in a way where they worked hard. It seems like they set up a narrative to make sure they kept them separate. You know what I'm saying?
And as far as the whole TC thing, it's like I understand your viewpoint, but I'm also like,
And Finn too, but there's others, but yeah.
like I also like if they would have got together, I wouldn't have liked it. I
ain't saying they supposed to be like straight butt naked, but I mean it would have been a
no, but
puppy
like,
love kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
even then, I'm
What do
like,
you mean? Are you hating on TC? Are you willing to tell the American people? No,
okay, you got me showing this dang Punisher shirt on. Like, okay, no. First of all, wait. Okay, Clement's
are you willing to tell your constituents right now?
Now
the voting public.
I gotta get my blue light glasses on. Okay, no. First of all, I like TC. We interviewed him, Chris Emmanuel, on the Black Lightning podcast. Really dope guy, smart AF, really forthcoming, really energetic, has good energy. I like his character. But I think the brother sister relationship that he had with JJ, or we'll call it Gen 2, I think is really well, because I don't know what to call it. Because
Gen 2 is cool. It was like
the thing came out of nowhere. The joint came out of nowhere, right? But
yeah,
I like that brother sister relationship that they have, especially if it's like, hey Jen, don't go into the iconosphere again. Don't go the ionosphere.
Don't be up there.
Don't go up there because it's going to cause you trouble. Well, I'm gonna go up there anyways because I need to get power. Okay,
but see,
Jen,
she might have stayed if he was like, "I love you, girl," and she would have been like, "What did you say, TC?" I love you, girl.
It wouldn't happen either.
Come back down here.
And to the point, he was right because we got crazy JJ, like crazy alien JJ. So like he was right the whole time. So the whole brother sister vibe that they have, I think, is a really cool part of the show. Like it's kind of like that couple that will they, won't they, the whole time. We've seen it in every show. Friends, I think I can't even remember, but like we've seen it time and time again. And then when they hook up, it's ruined the show. Right?
I don't think it ruins the show. I think writers don't know how to properly write a healthy relationship.
But ruin might be strong, but like more of just like, what else do you do with that? What else do you do now that they've hooked up, right?
Well, I mean, you can write a life where they have external factors that they deal with. They don't have to always butt heads with each other. They can have external factors that come into play where they have to fight each other. You know what I'm saying? Then you can have a situation where it's like, I don't know, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where they fight external issues and they down by law. You know what I'm saying? They 10 toes down for one another, but you know what I'm saying? They got other people trying to take them out. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And Therese, sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name.
Oh yeah, Therese, he's cool.
She said, they say, I wouldn't say JJ was crazy. I understood the reasoning. And yeah, she wasn't crazy, but the way that they set it up, it was like, oh wait, crazy alien. The way it initially came off,
it did kind of come out of nowhere.
It came
and even Jim was like, yo, I understand, but you ain't got to steal my life, yo. Like,
right. And that is understandable. But like when like there was no setup beforehand, it was just kind of like, oh, okay, I'm feeling swaggy about myself coming back from the ionosphere. And you're like, okay, what's happening? And then you see Jen come back, particles kind of refuse, and she's there. And then all of a sudden you have a crazy alien. And I'm like, wait, where was that setup, right? So
true. Even
though you have some sort of, they telegraphed a little bit, I don't know, but like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's my feelings about it. But I really wish that they would have really picked up Painkiller, man. I think that would, because I wanted to see I wanted to see Green Arrow and the Canaries get picked up, and I was like, okay, this could be a cool thing. Didn't get picked up. And then Painkiller, I was like, okay, let's see it happen. And then, I kind of had a feeling about it because also like I had this bad feeling about it coming into this week because upfronts are this week. So I was like, really,
like,
yeah. I was like,
here we go.
Here we go. And we get all this news. They picked up Naomi, but
yeah. Which I honestly, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm gonna be there or not. I don't know if I have hope in CW shows in general anymore. Like this was the last show on CW that I was watching. Sorry, excuse me, All American. I'm still watching All American. So okay, this is the last superhero CW show that I'm watching. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if the way CW does stuff, I don't know if I have it for Naomi. Not meaning that I don't like the character or I don't like the writers or whatever. I just know what happens on CW, man, and I'm like, I'm worried for that show. I'm worried that it's going to be watered down, or it might be a situation where like the first 2 seasons are dope, and then after that you're like, why am I here? So I don't know. That's why I'm not enthusiastic about Naomi.
I mean, the only thing that like coming from experience with Ava, it's like I think Ava being involved will at least make that first season pretty good. I don't even want to think about season 3. I'd rather take the Marvel approach of like, let's make this show, let's make
like this one season.
Let's make this season the best it can be. And then, because that's what happened with Black Lightning. Black Lightning just came out the gate ready to rock.
Yeah.
And season 2 was lit too. And then they I think maybe I don't know. I don't want to presume to know, but maybe they start feeling like, okay, I think we are in a good rhythm here. And when you start feeling that rhythm too hard, that it's kind of like, okay, that's when you start to mess. So it's kind of like you have to remember we're like making it best movie, best season, best episode that it can be, and then you can get to the part of, okay, cool, what else can we do? So
gotcha.
I'm gonna like see what Naomi has to offer, you know?
Yeah, I guess it's the network, man. If someone said, hey, Naomi's coming to HBO Max, I'd be like, word, all right, cool, let's see what we got. But CW, I don't know, man. Therese said no more Supernatural, no more Arrow, now no more Black Lightning. Yeah, only show left for me is All American now. Yeah, All American. Besides that, I don't know, man. I'm worried.
I mean, it's like, and I think it's like we talk about the CW, talk about Powerpuff Girls. I think there's another show that they greenlit, or I can't remember what it was. There's another show that's like based off previously probably that they greenlit. But I think the CW.
I mean, right now, what do they have running right now? Riverside. They got Kung Fu. That's new.
Kung Fu, Nancy Drew, All American. They have the All American spinoff coming. All American. Yeah. So the guy who played the werewolf in Legacies is going to be in the show.
I have to remember his face.
I think his name is Alex.
Right,
but
cool.
yeah, so they got the spinoff for All American, and there's another show they got coming. But I think CW for large part right now is in transition, and we're seeing we're seeing Warner Brothers, even though like CW is mixed, is half on with the Viacom, CBS, and WB. We're seeing large part of WB is in transition itself, with the Discovery merger happening, AT&T figuring all that noise out. It's like WB as itself is in major transition right now. So I think they are feeling
a major. You ain't know that is the truth, sir.
And that can't be understated. Even though it came out in press, Mark Pedowitz, who runs CW, was like, "Oh yeah, all of that's not bothering us." And I'm like, "But it kind of is, especially when we talk about now that it's like facts,
especially when you share this network."
Right, folks like Peter Roth, who's been in charge of WB for I think 20 something years, is now gone and replaced with Channing Dungey, who used to came from Netflix and ABC. So there's a whole thing. So they're big in transition right now. So I think I'm willing to give Naomi a chance. I like Nancy Drew. It frustrates me that Painkiller wasn't picked up. But we'll see how it, how all this solidifies in the next few years. Flash got. Did you hear Flash? The next season's going to open up with a big crossover, and Cress is open to come back. So
okay, hold up. Flash. Okay, perfect example. This is my last thing to say about Black Lightning, and then we can close.
Yeah.
After talking about the alien, Jen said something like, "Oh yeah, this is crazy, man. I never believed aliens and blah blah blah." It's like you were just in a crossover last year where you went to other dimensions or other Earths and stuff and saw other versions of yourself. It's not crazy. It's not crazy no more. It's
I have
like
one
it's kind of like when Wonder Woman asked Batman one time, because he didn't believe. I think there's some animated series where Batman was like he ain't believe in demons or something like that, and Wonder Woman was like, "Yo, I'm an Amazon. This dude's an alien. There's like other aliens. Blah blah blah. This dude runs faster than the speed of light or whatever, and demons is where you draw the line. It's like we deal with magic like." There's always magic going on. Like you see, Dr. Fate. This is where you draw the line, Batman. So that's how I felt about Jen. I was like, what you mean this is crazy? It's not crazy.
Man,
This is Tuesday.
I have one question for you. You got major Nick Fury vibes right now. Spider-Man Homecoming or Spider-Man Far From Home? When he's like, I just want to be the Nick Spider-Man. He's like, bitch, you've been to space. Like,
yeah, you've been to space.
Like, you've been to space.
Think about
like,
you no more.
You got some big Nick Fury vibes, bro, right now. Sorry, I just it came across. It was like, wow.
Oh man, Jenna James says she thinks it was Justice League Dark. It might have been. I think that was Justice League Dark. Yeah. You might have been right on that one. So it's come on, Jen. It's not crazy no more. This is Tuesday. All right, an alien took your DNA and pretended to be you for a little bit, and you came back and you had to beat her up. That's how it is. That's the life in which you lead. I need my eye patch. So, with that said, guys, we say goodbye to a good one, and I'll say a good one because it's been better than it was bad. You know what I'm saying? We say goodbye to a good one. Black Lightning, yo man, you held us down, man. In that era where it was like Luke Cage, Black Lightning, Black Panther, all that mixed up in like within 6 months we got all that. I think within 6 months, maybe a little bit outside of 6 months. But we got some good stuff. We got some good shows, great episodes. You know what I'm saying? And some dope acting moments. And I got to give it to this show. So before we get out of here, I want to give a big shout out to everybody in the chat. Therese, we had Tracy Lee come through, Jenna James, Silhouetted Animator with the super chat. Thank you, Andre Atkins. Let's see who else rolled through. Vulcan, yo man. Every time I see Vulcan, I think about what is it? The Summers brother, and then Zeus Bilu. What up? We are out. And before we leave, you know what I'm saying? Because next time we get together, we'll just be talking news or something like that. So, right over here, you see this man, this gentleman, all right, motorsport champion, all right, Monaco GP winning, top scorer in Pac-Man at the nearest arcade, also able to easily guess how many jelly beans are in any size jar, I give you Clement Bryant.
Jelly beans?
Man, it's a trait. It's a trick. It's an ability.
Man, when COVID's over, we're gonna be talking. We're gonna talk in person because
COVID's never gonna be over, man. It's never gonna be over. It's not going to be over, but we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get COVID light.
I have some words for you. Anyways, Twitter, Instagram, at Clement Bryant. You know what I'm about. Follow me.
He's the man, y'all. For real, on the real, Clement is dope, man. Straight up. And, he always brings the the ill knowledge from the business side, that we all enjoy. Of course, NERD, SOUL, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all them places. Hit a thumbs up if you like Black Lightning. Hit that thumbs down if you like Tobias. All right? Yes. Yes, hit the bell, hit subscribe, hit the bell, all that. If you hit the bell already, hit the bell again, it'll turn it off. Then hit the bell again, it'll turn it right back on. And then, so, podcast for that sounds, Spotify for music. We're going to leave y'all PL Parker Lewis from us to you and Arcatron and Y High Sign. All the episodes. You need to watch them all. You want to say peace? Yeah. All right, come on. He goes, say peace. Peace. No, don't. You was all hype for a sec. Say peace. Peace. All right. Much love, guys, from us to you. We out. Give them a woo. A woo for you and a woo for you. We out. Word up, word up, word up.
I'm the man, yes sir, that killed the bear barehanded so the people won't forget it. Getting money for our legal to drink. I care what a broke nigga think.
Just like the pack of Lewis.
Look, everything I do so cold. I can do this, both eyes closed. Too short, I stay on my toes. About that white boy, anything goes. Help the bear if we outside. Help the bear if we outside. Still tipping, baby, nothing changed. I'm still grinding over here, yeah. Still sliding through my own lane. Shorty, nothing funny over here. Dallas rain everywhere around me. Dream to get money. Made it through the storm, living sunny. Dreams came true, now we eating. I got more dreams to chase, gotta reach them. Trying to put a team together like the Hunger Games. Everybody grind together, we all came from Hunger Games.